My name is Jonathan Weinberg. I'm an artist and curator and art historian, and I'm also one of those people who are obsessed with fountain pens. I think this started, believe it or not, when I was a teenager, and for some reason in high school there was this obsession that all these kids suddenly had with using fountain pens. Everybody was using these Schaefer student pens. And I'll probably do a video about them because I have a bunch of them. They're still really cheap, although Schaefer isn't making them anymore. Anyway, this is my first review, and I should say that I don't really use pens to write with that much. I use them to draw with, and I don't use them for calligraphy, and I have terrible handwriting, and so that's something to be said. So most of my discussions of the pens and reviews are really going to be focusing on how well they draw. And so I'm one of those people also really interested in the whole phenomenon or problem of whether you can get a fountain pen that flexes well, meaning does thin and thick lines, and what are the advantages of that. Also, really, can you get a pen that is that will draw with a very fine line, but it won't be too scratchy. Well, so my first review is of a discovery of a pen called the Lorelei 691 that is remarkably inexpensive. It's only around, I was able to get it for around $20 on eBay. It's a Chinese pen. It comes in this actually kind of nice white box. And I heard about it actually when I was looking at a review about a different pen called the Blue Dew pen, which actually is the same pen, but with a somewhat modified nib. So this is what the pen looks like. It comes in this white box, which, a lot of people call these boxes coffins. This one really looks like a coffin, but it's nice for $20. What can you expect? I'm amazed it comes in a box at all, to tell you the truth. And the other thing I have to say is it's called Lorelei, and I love the Gilmore Girls. So that's another good thing, that the hero of the Gilmore Girls is named Lorelei. Anyway, and it's actually this beautiful pen. And the Blue Dew Flex pen looks exactly like it, so I've seen in reviews. I don't own one. And it has a nib that actually appears to be the same as this nib, and I don't know if you can see it and if it's coming into focus, but you see this big B, and from what I hear, this nib has been modified on the Blue Dew with little cuts in it to make it flex more. But all the reviewers said that the original Lorelei 691 flexed, almost was like a semi-flex. So I thought, oh, all right, for $20, since I actually really like the way it looks, why not try it out, see if it's a good pen. And it is, first of all, it's gorgeous. It's made out of this beautiful blue acrylic plastic, and it's translucent, which I like. I have a kind of obsession with things that are translucent. I make my own art. I make things out of cut out plastic with laser cutters, and I paint on glass and things like that. So I really like the way this pen looks. And so I like that part of it. And then, to my great surprise, I think it just writes and draws beautifully. So I guess the first thing, now I'm not, in my reviews, I'm not going to measure the pen and do all that kind of thing, because I figure you can find that out online. There are so many fountain pen reviews going right now, and I really enjoy looking at all the different reviews, so why not let somebody else do that rather than go through the whole process of measuring the pen. But this is what it looks like, and I am going to first write with it, and then I'm going to draw with it. And so let me first write here that it is a, well, of course it won't write first thing. Now I'm using Pilot black ink, and I would say it's a kind of, I would say this is a fine nib, but it can flex so that it's a medium. And let's first do some of these curly cues. You'll see it's very wet. And it's quite bouncy. I'm terrible at doing these kind of curly cue things. A quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. So here's fine. And then it's thick, thicker, thicker. But look at how fine this is. So what I'm finding that's so remarkable about this pen is not just that it has some line variation, because there are a lot of pens that have that, including my Pilot Falcon pen and my Pilot 912 and my 743, but is that when it writes fine, as you can hear, there's almost no feedback at all. It's very smooth, and yet you get a really nice fine. I say right here that I'm using Rhodia paper. Now you see that it's also very wet. But I just love it. Now, as people also point out, it has a very long nib. You can see it's not railroading at all. Oh, right, right. I would say it's a semi-flex. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw some of our freshly minted zinnias. So if you can see them, lovely zinnias that we grew in a garden in New Haven, and I am going to draw one of them, see how well this works for drawing. just really a beautiful pen. Let me say a few more things about it. I think you'll notice that the design of the pen is very reminiscent of Conklin's All-American design with it's a kind of cigar shape, very simple clip. Clip is very tight. Post nicely. It's not back weighted. It's reasonably light pen. But I like big pens. I mean, it's a big pen, I think. And as I say, very similar in size to the Conklin All-American, and I happen to love the Conklin pens. So I am amazed by the pen. Now, I have already ordered another one because could it be that it's just a fluke? The point, the nib is just really terrific on this one and the next one won't be so good. That sometimes happens, so I want to, I'll let you know. I mean, it'll probably be another month before I get the other one because it's coming from China. And I also want to say I'm not getting any pay or, this isn't a commercial for this brand. It's just I'm very, very pleased with it, and perhaps the Blue Dew pen is even better, and clearly is more flex. But in terms of drawing, I don't think that one wants a huge amount of flex necessarily. What one wants is a certain kind of variety, a certain kind of expressiveness to the line, and something that's different from, let's say, rapidograph, where you're getting exactly the same line. What you're really trying to go after is some of the effect of a dip pen. And when I use a dip pen, I'm not going after a hugely thick line and a light line. Indeed, the real problem I find with a dip pen is that when you do use a very fine line, it has a tendency to pick up some of the paper because it's so sharp, and then that makes the paper get ink on it, and then that gets thicker. The line gets really thick. So that can be expressive and kind of fun and exciting, but isn't necessarily such a great thing. And I keep coming back to the smoothness of this particular nib, which impresses me so much. So we will see. There aren't a lot of reviews of it online, and I noticed there aren't a lot of people selling it on eBay. So I wonder how many more of these pens exist, and whether they will become popular, or whether, as I say, it's just a fluke. But we will see.